I did not prioritise myself until I was 40. I found I was working 120 hours a week. There's times when you don't love your business. There's times when you're not having fun. And there's times where you go, I've had enough. What I've learned over the years is that... Okay, here is another how-to. How to prioritise self-care and still run a business. I can tell you I was absolutely shit at this, right? Completely. Right, so I was 32 years old, never run a business before, and actually, to be honest, I thought I was going to run a business that I could do a bit of part-time on the side, have it a bit interesting, and then still be there for my kids, until I started a business and I found I was working 120 hours a week. Prioritise myself, so I was 32, I did not prioritise myself until I was 40. So for 8 years, I think I still played netball once a week, but for 8 years, my head was down and my bum was up. And I just went for it. So if you think about Boost Juice today, you see this running machine. Well, every single element had to be considered. Like every system had to be considered, every recipe, every equipment, every start, like everything had to be done. And for me to do that, I had to throw my heart and soul at it. So I'm not helping that person who's asked me that question, because you're now going, that's not the answer I want. But I think let's go back to what I learned, right? I learned that self-care is actually really important. What I did do during those 8 years of craziness, I did at least once a year go to a health retreat. So I would take myself, and normally because I was completely spent and my adrenal glands were gone and I was a mess, but I would take myself to a health retreat for 5 days because I couldn't take 7 because I was so busy. I would fill my bucket. Right, so I'd empty my bucket through stress and everything else, and then I would go to a health retreat and I'd fill that bucket right back up. And then to go back into the business and then empty that bucket again, and was on repeat. But I think that what I do now is, and it works really well for me, I don't have any meetings on a Monday and Friday. And the reason being is because I like to set up the week and then for a Monday, and then on Friday I like to finish off all the things that I had in the week. I try really hard not to have any meetings before 11 o'clock. That means that I can go for my surf in the morning, get up early, that helps, go for my surf, go for a walk, and have a routine that really works for me. And if I want to actually catch up with someone for a coffee, I can. Now, in fairness, and the reality is, could have I started at 11 when I started the business? Probably not. And as your business gets bigger, it gets more complex, but also means that you get people in your business that are better at things than you are to actually help you on your journey. So I would say though, don't do what I did, and try and find a coping mechanism that works for you, that keeps you fresh. Because what happens when we do what I did, there's times when you don't love your business. There's times when you're not having fun, and there's times where you go, I've had enough, and they're all completely normal emotions. So what I would say is that self-care is critical. I know you don't want to hear this, but if you stop alcohol, it helps, or even just really reduce it, because that really does affect how you think. Drink lots of water. A dehydrated brain isn't a brain that has clarity. I'm a massive one on supplements. So even though back then I probably didn't do all these things, what I've learned over the years is that, we don't get a lot of nutrition from, the food that we probably eat. And I think supplements for me is really important. It works for me. Everyone's different. Water, and just be healthy. I think the other thing is, it's really important to, if you look at any longevity work that's out there, the number one thing you can do for yourself is exercise. So even if that means you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then, you have you time, and that's an exercise. For me, it's surfing, or I go for a walk, or I do yoga. So that's my morning. So you can find the time, it can be done. If I had my time again, I would have prioritized that a lot more than I did. But now I make that a major priority in my life. So it's just all about priority. Thanks a lot for joining me on my how-tos. There is a regular series of how-tos. Please click subscribe and you'll get access to all of them. What I really want from you, if you don't mind, any how-tos you want from me, please add in the comments. I'll read them regularly and I will use them as my ongoing series of how-tos. Thank you so much for your support and remember to subscribe.